This Eastern Conference semifinal matchup has now become best 2 out of 3. Game 6 Monday in Toronto, 7 o'clock to start on MSG. If necessary, Game 7 back here in New Jersey. They'll also begin at 7. It'll be shown on Fox Sports Net. We'll begin our coverage as usual, 1/2 hour before the opening face-off with the Continental Airlines Devils game night. Welcome back, everyone. Matt Loughlin along with the Maven, Stan Fischler. Stan, was the suspension of Ty Domi fair? Should it have been longer?
I don't think it was fair if the commissioner, Gary Bettman, wants to send a message that will be effective, because over the last few years we've seen suspensions, even as severe as the Marty McSorley one, and they have not been deterrents. Now, in this particular episode, you have a guy like Ty Domi who has been a previous offender, and if you don't believe it, just take a look at this one right here. Now, that's Domi once. We're going to see some more Domi in action, and you'll see what he does here to Randy McKay. This is not a guy who just suddenly got angry. He's a guy who's been offender over and over again, and this is the most recent episode in Philadelphia, causing a big trouble.
So what would you have done?
I would have given him at least twice what he got, at least, put him on probation after that.
So you would have suspended him for the length of the playoffs.
That's right.
Plus the same
at least 21 games into next season, the same way that Bettman did it to Dale Hunter in 1993 over the Pierre Turgeon episode.
And of course, Hunter wound up ending his season in that game, and so that's why he went to a regular season suspension the following year. Well, Scotty Niedermayer last year was suspended for 10 for hitting Peter Worrell in the stick, so he's no stranger, if you will, to some physical play. And then, of course, you talked about this in '93. Pierre Turgeon scores against Washington. The Capitals season came to an end in that playoff game, and Dale Hunter then was suspended for the following year for 25 games. And I think that's why the suspension was fair this time, because Colin Campbell clearly believes the postseason is more important. The postseason is sacred. Domi could miss as much as 17 games in the postseason.
Oh, wait a minute. What, are you saying that blood flows differently during the regular season, that it doesn't matter if you get a broken nose? It's as damaging. Now, you got to remember, you see this thing here? This is called an elbow pad. This is also a dangerous weapon. Now, an elbow pad to the jaw, to the head, at high speeds, particularly if players going in opposite directions, can be much more severe, in my estimation, than a stick. So what's this? Niedermayer gets 10, and this guy gets less?
Well, that's the only thing that I would disagree with in terms of the ruling by the league, because if Toronto wins this series and they get eliminated in 4 in the next round, Domi's suspension just is 6 games, because he'll be able to play game 1 of the regular season next year. That's the only fault I find it. But you know what? A stick, it's made out of aluminum or it's made out of graphite. I don't know that it's any less dangerous than an elbow pad. I just think it was a fair... there's no defending it. Okay. There's no defending the action. I think in the scheme of things, that was probably a fair ruling.
Well, now the question is how the Devils react. And, you know, you go back historically, in 1950, Gordie Howe was knocked out for the entire series after the first game against Toronto, and his team, the Red Wings, wound up winning. Then you go to '78, when Mike Bossy got knocked out by the Leafs in a brutal series. Leafs wound up winning that one. Well, that's going to depend on how some of the second and third liners play for the Devils, and of course how Kenny Sutton fills in on defense, working with Colin White.
I think another key is Martin Brodeur has got to make the big save tonight. Matt Sundin scores after the Devils get some win. They score to make it 2-1. 80 seconds later, gives up the Sundin goal. I know it was a tough shot. You got to make that save.
You're absolutely right on that, and Brodeur is going to be on the spot. At the same time, the A-line's got to deliver. There's no question they have not played up to form.
No, they haven't, and they were backpedaling a little bit until the final few seconds of Game 4. The Devils are now focused. We'll see how they respond tonight. Steve Cangelosi standing by with the New York Sports Tonight report.